Yeah, the whole crew is in the building. Monday, it is game day. We got the whole Monday crew here. Fantasy Football Hustler back at you. We got fantasy news today. We got Bogard Scott free in the building, repping the GMM Network.
Give me money.
TD's in the building, repping the Fantasy Good Sports.
So, what up, bros?
Yeah. And IDP Iggy in the building, representing IDP Iggy's fantasy and betting, right? Or did I mix those two up?
I'm back.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
What's up, everybody?
Good.
Who's up in here? Second Take Extra. Yeah. Second Take Extra in the building. Antonio in the building. JC Money Design in the building. Rhino in the building. Who else we got in here? Big Frank in the building. What up? Zeb in the building. Uzi in the building. Said, bruh, TD.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then right off the bat, Uzi started off your boy AJ Dillon breakout season. So we're going to toss it up to TD on this first. But for those who don't know, Aaron Jones suffered a mild MCL sprain. The timetable, he's expected to be out 1 to 2 weeks. We'll see what happens with it, but it's going to be A.J. Dillon, at least for the next week or two, getting the whole load. TD, go ahead and take those victory laps, because I know you've been on, and not about the injury, but just because you've been boasting A.J. Dillon being a guy who's going to have his own standalone value, even in addition to Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just think A.J. Dillon is an exceptional talent. And I know it was sooner or later. Aaron Jones is great. You know, he's a great back. He's great at pass scale. He's explosive. He can take a 60-yard run. But can you give him 35, 40 carries in the snow? This is Lambeau. So this is what's changed. Even with AJ, even with Aaron Jones coming back, reason why I'm buying, I'm spending everything I got for A.J. Dillon is because this team is going to be unbeatable, because that green zone efficiency is going to be outstanding. Every time they get to the 10-yard line, A.J. Dillon is going to get it in. And I probably would say, 9 times out of 10, 90%, because you got Devontae Adams on the outside. You got Aaron Rodgers. So I think he takes this team to a whole nother level. And even say Aaron Jones comes back. Now Aaron Jones is getting all the PPR points between the 20s. But he's no longer going to be force-fed in the green zone. That's A.J. Dillon's job. And just to caveat a little bit before I hand it on to the other guys, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is leaving now. Yes, over A.J. Dillon. I don't think he's going to leave, because it's going to make Aaron, all he got to do is just say, here you go, A.J. Dillon. Here you go, A.J. Dillon. Bam. Okay, I only had to throw it, 15 times a game? So this is the scheme. This is what they did with Jimmy when Fleur was there. He did the same thing. Like this is the way they did it with Jimmy, where you're not asking him to throw it 30 times a game. So A.J. Dillon is just coming into that role. I think he's going to have a lot of green zone touches, no matter if Aaron Jones comes back or not, which he is coming back. So I just think it's going to be very efficient, and I want all parts of this offense.
And Iggy, you're a resident Packers, guy here. Let's get your thoughts, and we're going to let Bogard bring it on home.
Yeah, first off, great win by my beloved Green Bay Packers, baby, in Lambeau in the snow. That's what you want. That's football 101 right there. So I just want to say, yeah, A.J. Dillon, he's coming on at the exact same time. Guess what next week is? Thanksgiving. Guess what happens when Thanksgiving football starts getting here? It gets cold. It gets nasty. You get a lot of injuries. You need that running back like A.J. Dillon that gets you yards, positive yards. Go watch the game tape. He gets positive yards on every carry. And you can look in that fourth quarter, that Seattle Seahawks defense was gas. Bobby Wagner went to go hit him. Boop! Got stood right up. We're talking Bobby Wagner, linebacker extraordinaire. He got stood up by A.J. Dillon and had to have reinforcements come to just bring down A.J. Dillon, because they were on that side of the ball so much. And I just want to backdoor it with what TD said. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going anywhere. I may just be the fan in me. But A, that running back room is solidified. And B, that defense is a top 5 defense. He'd be foolish to kind of go anywhere else and expect a good defense to be able to help him in these bad games where he doesn't get a touchdown. The game script's much different. As somebody that's had Aaron Rodgers as a keeper for fantasy for 5 years, this year the game script's different. It's control the ball, let the defense work. Let's get Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon out there and do some work. We're going to complete some passes to Devontae, maybe a bomb to MVS. That's the script. You know?
Yep.
So,
and I will say this is Matt LaFleur, like trying his best to like kind of emulate what they had with the run game with Derrick Henry when he was in Tennessee. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that was the first thing he did was draft, A.J. Dillon. Like, and people were raising question marks back then, like, oh, he needs weapons. That is a weapon. You know what I mean? That's an invaluable weapon, especially in this system where you need the run to open up the play action. There's no way, you know what I mean? And this is quite impressive with no Bakhtiari and a bunch of their starters on defense out. Like, this is the best team in the league right now, if you ask me. You know what I mean? Because they're not even at 100%. You know what I mean? And they're going to be without Aaron Jones probably. He's probably not coming back till after their Week 13 bye week, right? Because that would be foolish, right? Why would you? That's 2 weeks from now, so we won't have him until the bye week. By then, A.J. Dillon's he's already supplanted himself.
Yeah.
I also think. What's his next matchup? Minnesota. He's going to eat them up. You know. Yeah. I forget who they have after that, but yeah, this is the adversity this team's been going through. They're not even when they get hurt. Like, you know what I mean? They're like, all right, because they have depth in all their. They have depth where it matters. You know what I mean? Maybe outside receiver. You know what I mean? Yeah, I like, and they're still going to get Darius back one time later. Jair Alexander is going to be coming back. Like, this is Bakhtiari. Like I mentioned, it's going to be crazy.
So the thing that's crazy,
Rashad Gary said he's okay. Thank goodness. We got to keep an eye on Merciless. The edge rush they've been adding. We may have to go get Jalen Smith back. I ain't opposed to it. Let's just make it happen. 420 on the East Coast too. 420 over there. Let's enjoy it, baby.
Let's smoke it up. Let's get it. So the thing that I like about the Packers right now is that even with Aaron Rodgers out, they didn't get their shit pushed in, and even though it was the Chiefs, and even though everyone was hating, we already know what the Chiefs can do. They showed it last night. So everyone who sat Patrick Mahomes because he had a couple bad weeks, shame on you. Yep. Shame on you.
That was insane, the amount of like Patrick Mahomes or player X start sit questions. Like, it was like, plus it was the Raiders. And just to go back to what you said, Huss, man, that was impressive because without Aaron Rodgers, that defense held him to under 17 points.
I think it was 14 that they had, right? It was like 14-7 or something like that.
You know what I mean? So and you know what's crazy is Kevin King, man. Like Kevin King just keeps moving up in my respect level because now he's actually like securing these picks, man. Because he was just like always like right there, to make a play, and he's doing his thing because he's always been the guy that defense that quarterbacks would pick on. You know what I mean?
Just to caveat real quick before you go again, Hustler. So I know y'all might not agree with this, but I believe A.J. Dillon is the number one influential person on this Packers team going forward. And you let me know if I'm wrong, Iggy, because I know you're a Packers fan. But with A.J. Dillon, that's why they beat Kansas City. You 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 3s is gonna be it's gonna be clockwork. It's gonna be easy, and that's gonna put them above the chains. You got Aaron Rodgers. That's how they the chains. It's dangerous.
Yeah. People forget he's a second-round running back. Go look at some second-round running back picks, and you could see some potential what might be happening up there. He's a go-to guy. He will be a go-to guy. People are like, why did they pay Aaron Jones? You need fresh legs in the running back, and then they can sustain a drive just replacing those guys. Aaron Rodgers may have to throw 1 or 2 passes, and they can get that 10-minute drive like they did against Seattle. It's all about the game script, the time of possession. That's what it's about.
Schmitty, oh yeah, Preston Schmitty in the building. Get those Packers thoughts in. He came on a Q&A with us a couple weeks ago, Patreon member in some Hustler leagues and stuff. And yeah, he was, he's on the Packers. That's for sure.
I agree with you, TD. He is like the spirit of this team right now.
Thank you.
Defense and running the ball go hand in hand, and they have a solid defense. And their run game is phenomenal, as it should be with Matt LaFleur. You know what I mean?
When here's the one thing that I was always real confused about. I mean, as someone who wanted to see Aaron Rodgers get like another receiving weapon, I don't know why everyone thought, at least initially, that AJ Dillon was just going to come in and be nothing. Like literally, we've been seeing this. The Packers run a 2 running back system. Like I don't know why people don't understand that. Like it was always Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams 60-40 split. Sometimes even 50-50 split.
Yep. Well, last year that was the thing, is because last year there was people drafting him over Jamal Williams, right?
Yeah.
Like people drafting AJ Dillon over Jamal Williams when Jamal Williams was the second back in the 2-back system.
That's that damn rookie hype. That's one thing that this next offseason, I'm going to remind people, because there's a whole bunch of dynasty fucking hype that we need to, literally flip the switch and remember the dynasty hype doesn't always carry over into year one and redraft. Let's talk about guys who drafted Trey Sermon, over I don't know, Michael Carter, other guys who had a better chance to be the running back, one on their squads.
You know what's funny too is I'm not opposed in redraft to drafting rookies. Just what's crazy is when you start drafting them over proven commodities. You know what I mean?
Last year, I got Jonathan Taylor in the 5th round in a league and Gibson in the 8th and the 9th because they're rookies. And I went 0 R. That was my 0 RB last year, was taking 2 rookies hella late. Yep. Kind of worked, but the only time I think people are crazy who will draft anyone who is not drafted in the top 15 of an NFL draft. They're not a 1st round draft pick for me. Even last year on Clyde, I was so nervous about taking him in the 1st round because he's an end of the 1st round guy. Might as well be a 2nd round guy at that point.
He's a satellite guy. He's not a bell cow. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bogard.
No, I was just gonna say Clyde's a perfect example that organizations shouldn't listen to the quarterback. They could have had Jonathan Taylor, for God's sakes.
Fuck, they'd be so damn good if they had Taylor right now.
They had AJ Dillon.
They could have had AJ Dillon.
I mean, shit, but they wanted Clyde.
I don't want to give up on Gainwell. I can't drop him. Call me stubborn, but he's somebody drafted later. But the offense. I don't know what's going on in Philly, but I'm not giving up on Gainwell because I'm losing. You see these running backs dropping: Aaron Jones, Chase Edmonds, Josh Jacobs. What's his deal? I mean, these running backs drop, so you got to have depth at that position. That's all there is to it.
And that's what 0 RB is. It's just for depth. It's just to more go ahead and don't bank on it. Because imagine if you had CMC and let's say what's another running back?
Derrick Henry. CMC or Derrick Henry
or
Saquon.
There you go. You struggling right now. You struggled.
Yeah, or if you had Derrick Henry, David Montgomery combinations like I did.
And here's what was crazy because 2 weeks ago on this show, we pretty much said the only safe picks that were made were Derrick Henry and Travis Kelce. Those were the only, safe 1st round picks. Hey, either way,
I'll take full responsibility.
I'm not taking responsibility for that. He's a workhorse. Fluky shit happens.
Hold up now. My best ball. I did a mid-season best ball. I had the 101, one of the very few best balls out of 50 that I had the 101, and I took Kelce. Guess who's number 1 by a bunch of points? This guy right now. So there's different strategies for different things, but you can't replace not getting hurt, man. That's just the bottom line. It's like I said earlier today on my podcast. 80% of success is showing up. You can't show up, you can't give me any points. That's just the bottom line,
Hey,
so,
but too, if I have Aaron Jones and no AJ Dillon, right, and I need wins right now, I would look to move injured Aaron Jones to the AJ Dillon owner. Just be like, here, man, lock it down and just see what I can get up out of him. You know what I mean? Because right now it's if you're a team that's 3-7 or 4-6, you're trying to skate one more L because then you're out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
yeah,
Iggy,
go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. I'm sorry, Hustler. Iggy, real quick. Did you see Aaron Jones crying?
Yeah.
I read the report. Yeah, he went and talked to his family. He was crying. He went and talked to his family too.
He thought it was a torn ACL.
I disagree a little bit. It was an MCL sprain that could have been worse. I think he knew that AJ Dillon might take my job. I could be wrong. I'm I think he was. That's why he was crying. Most guys, like, you know,
I
they
like
cry, but
better. I like your version better.
I don't, it could be hurt. It's also just like when you're kind of the guy like Aaron Jones is, and you might be out. You're not only losing your job, you don't want to let your teammates down, man. I missed 1 week of football, thank goodness, my whole career. That's all I ever missed, and I felt like so bad that one game. I rushed back from an injury because I wanted to be back out there. But I do think that he knows that AJ Dillon, is going to take over reps. I mean, he's been taking over more reps the past 3 games. So
we've all been watching football for a long time. We could go all the way back to like 2007 when it was Chester Taylor who was the starting running back for the Minnesota Vikings. He gets hurt in week 1. AP comes in week 2, and Chester Taylor, like, that was the end of his, maybe not the end of his career. I'm sure he played a little bit more after that, but that was the end of him being a starting running back.
That was definitely the end.
But literally anything like that can happen. I mean, Tony Romo comes in, replaces Drew Bledsoe. Even if Drew Bledsoe was healthy enough, once you get that momentum going, you're just going with the momentum.
Well, look at the history. History repeats itself. Mm-hmm. Aaron Jones wasn't initially the guy. It was Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
Well, as a rookie, they were going to give him the shot. And then remember, he gets hurt. And then Aaron Jones gets hurt. Then they tried the Ty Montgomery experiment.
Yep.
Aaron Jones, then he gets popped for PEDs. And going into 2018, he was suspended for 3 games. But I was like, I had made sure I had Aaron Jones everywhere because he was set to be the guy. And here's one thing is that Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't say a lot. Like what's funny, when they asked him about Jordan Love, he didn't say he played well. He's he did, he tried his best. He kept it cordial on McAfee, right? But like whenever you talked about Aaron Jones, he would be, oh man, we love Jonesy.
Yeah.
He speaks highly of Aaron Jones and even AJ Dillon. Like when he said he got to watch the game at home, because he obviously had COVID. So he said it was awesome to see AJ Dillon, catching the ball in stride and do, he's pointing little nuances out because how I'm fit to use this guy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I bet, as much as the receivers probably always pissed him off, if you have a good defense, you probably don't complain as much about your receivers because you're in games. And if you're in games, a guy like Aaron Rodgers can throw a team on his back for a couple drives at the end of the game and make shit happen. And that's why Tom Brady was so successful with the Patriots, because they were always in games, whether the offense sucked or not.
Preach.
Yeah. And shout out to is it Joe Brady? Who's the guy?
Joe Brady. Brady.
Joe Brady.
Defensive coordinator. The defense coordinator.
It's not. It's
Joe Barry. Joe Barry.
Yeah. He's the man. Fuck Mike Penton. Has the same personnel as Mike Penton did, and Mike Penton just had them as like one of the worst, if not the worst, run defense ever. And I know this because I physically in person watched Mostert put up 200 on them. You know what I mean? And this just always went on. You know what I mean?
Devondre Campbell is a new addition though to that squad, right? Iggy?
That is true.
Yeah, but they're dropping their safeties back. They're putting the linebacker core is better. That's I love Blake Martinez, man, but he would constantly be making tackles 6-7 yards back. You need that Campbell. You need those. We call them thumpers in the business. You need those guys that come up and just thump that line and move that line back and get to the guy. So, and
that's why a lot of people kind of hate on Blake Martinez, because I know in the fantasy world, he's a stud, always like a top 5 guy. But when you talk about to real football heads, man, Blake Martinez is a bitch.
So you mean
you got to be able to separate those two?
Yeah.
I think the Packers tried to beat when they looked at Jalen Smith. They're like, let's bring him in since we don't have Martinez anymore. You know what I mean?
Jalen Smith is just a different version of Blake Martinez.
Exactly.
He's lost a step this year.
Yep. Shout out to everyone who's leaving comments in the chat, starts and sits, stuff like that. We're going to get to those a little bit towards the end of the show. But Schmitty, he said Packers are looking legit with the championship caliber defense. Definitely makes a difference. Something we haven't had in a while. Keep in mind, it's without Jair Alexander and Z Smith. Without Jair Alexander, that's the craziest thing to me right now, how good they're looking.
Yeah, and think about this, too. They've actually played some teams. You look at schedule was whack. It was soft so far. You know what I mean? you look at Tampa Bay, their schedule's been pretty soft, and like they just lost to the Saints. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't. I think the Packers are legit. They're legit. You know what I mean? I mean, they're not. No offense to the Cowboys, but like the Cowboys dropping something like, you know, to the Broncos the way they did. That's like, you know, it kind of puts them on like, you know, they haven't been there yet. You know what I mean? Aaron Rodgers and them, 2 years in a row they almost got to the pinnacle. Like I think, you know, third might be a charm here.
My Cowboys are good. The defense, I love our defense this year. I talked about that all year. A lot of people say your defense suck. I said, wait till we go to the 4-3. But guess what? And I'm gonna say this, and I'm a Cowboy fan. We don't want none of AJ Dillon. We don't want that. I'm telling you. That's why I'm saying he's the heartbeat of this team. Guys, like Aaron Rodgers being led with a run game. Ooh.
And this is pretty crazy. Look at what Schmitty said. Went up against Murray, Mahomes, and Wilson in back-to-back weeks, only gave up 34 points. Like, yeah, that's saying something right there.
Yeah, and like, listen, we don't need to pay attention to the asterisks like, oh, like Murray was hurt or Wilson, you know, fucked up, or Mahomes is just off this year. Fuck all that. You look at it on paper, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, when someone goes back and looks at it next year, they're not going to think about all the little bullshit. Everyone gets hurt in football. There's just different levels to it.
That could be destiny. 100%. It's destiny that they ran into these teams at a good time. You know what I mean? Because no one wants to go in the Lambeau when the snow is falling into the frozen tundra in January. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tampa Bay got so lucky that the weather was good and that Matt LaFleur gave Tom Brady to begin the game. Gave him the ball. Like they deferred it. Yeah. That's cool to defer it. I get why you defer. You don't defer it against Tom Brady in a championship game. You get the lead and you cram it down his throat, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's why they got AJ Dillon.
Yeah, and you don't get the field goal. You go for it on fourth.
Yeah. And King Yada, there we go. So he's my man Stadavelli. He's in some Hustler Leagues with us. He said, shout out to our man Steven, Titans for life, for the AJ Dillon trade just 9 days ago.
Hey, Steven,
hey, I'm not gonna lie. I traded away AJ Dillon. I drafted him, but I got Chase Edmonds out of the deal. I got Rondell Moore out of the deal, and I had to do it. You know, I just needed somebody, and I dished off Sam Darnold and Robbie Anderson with that too, right after the 3-0 start. So it's still one of the best trades of my life.
There we go. All right, let's switch it up. Let's get to some other topics here. Some are going to be more fun than others to talk about. So let's talk about another fun one right now. DK Metcalf yesterday getting kicked out of the game for fighting with two players at the same time. And then he's on the sideline and tries to sneak back into the game, but then gets caught by one of the coaches and they keep him on the side. They don't let him get in. So they said that they're going to be evaluating that for a fine. I think a lot of people are thinking he's going to get suspended, but some league sources came in and they already said he's probably not getting suspended, but likely a fine.
When you get booted out of the game, that serves as a suspension, basically. You know what I mean? So the fine is going to be hefty for sure. And like, he's already a guy that like, he, you know, for someone that comes from the Seattle organization, he's very outspoken. Like, you know, this is like the same thing with, when he spoke on Shannon Sharp. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like, look, kid, man, you haven't even got your first big contract yet. I just keep my head down and work hard.
TG, what do you think about that? How wild is he trying to get back into the game? Like someone's not going to know that it's his big ass that's going back into the game.
Well, I didn't, because when they read it out, they didn't give him the personal foul. They didn't say personal foul on number 14. So they said one. They first said one on double, both guys. So I was like, okay. I was like, go back in. Because listen, guys, I lost $500 yesterday off of one. I needed DK to get one more catch. So I'm praying. So I see him come back out there. I'm like, oh my God, I got this. And then they were like, no, man, you got to go back. We called 2 personal fouls on you. You gone. And I was like, damn. So I felt DK trying to come back in, but it is what it is. DK was mad. He was mad at Russell, so he took it out on the Packers. I get it.
Yeah. I didn't understand it either at first. I guess the 2 personal fouls, you don't get ejected from the game, but you can't come back in the game, you know? And yeah, he tried to sneak in. It's like when my friend, he was an offensive lineman in college, big dude, man. We went, you know, long story short, he had to go hide. And when we all went and hide, we went to go look. Like he was standing behind a telephone pole. I was like, bro, we can see you. We can see you right there. That was your spot. I was like, you got lucky as a motherfucker.
That's crazy. You know, that's the guy that That's the guy that never wins in hide and seek. You know what I mean? No, you know what's funny is that Seattle. Y'all remember in 2020 during quarantine, like off season, they were doing they were getting the team together in the hotel, and one of like the third string QB for Seattle tried to sneak in abroad. Remember that? He tried to dress her up in gear, like a jersey and a helmet, and he's trying to walk her through the lobby. You know what I mean? He got caught, and then they cut his ass. It's like, yo, you guys are not slick. You know what I mean?
Cameras are everywhere, dude. Big Brother's watching you. Come on, man.
And everybody's a reporter as long as they got a smartphone on them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And Slim 74, same pain as you, TD, said, yeah, DK cost me $1,000. Thought his over was a lock. Yeah. You don't play the whole game.
I know where he's at, bro. Let's go get our money, but he owes me too.
I don't want none of that smoke.
Let's pull up on him. You know what I'm saying?
All right, my man Rhino says, I was wondering if y'all could talk about Darrell Williams, his role when CEH returns, since he's a much better pass catcher. I also have both. What do you think their trade value is? And so Andy Reid came out this morning and said Clyde Edwards-Helaire has a good chance to play this week. So there's a really good question right now.
I think he gets demoted as like it's like a 1A, 1B. It's not just like he's the number one guy. And like, you know, even if you go back to when Clyde was healthy, we only saw 2 good games out of Clyde out of like 4 weeks before he got hurt.
And let's even say 1 good game and then 1 like above average game.
There you go. And no, it was 2 good. Oh, it was just the one good game then. Okay, but either way,
one where it was really, really balling. The other one was just like he was like a higher end RB2.
Double barrel Darrell's still getting in there, vulturing touchdowns before. You know what I mean? So there's that. You know what I mean?
So, guys, I don't mean to be disingenuous, but if Pat Mahomes playing the way he's supposed to play, who gives a damn who's the running back?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. Whoever's slotted in there, you just play him if you need a flex guy. But this team, when Pat Mahomes is going, Darrell Williams is okay. But if you try to ask Darrell Williams to carry this team, he's a different back. So is CEH. But I don't think they actually drafted these guys to be go-to guys. So when Pat Mahomes is hot, you play all these guys. You play Travis Kelce. You play Tyreek. You probably can play McCole, and you can play CEH and Darrell Williams.
And they're more or less asking for like a fantasy outlook. So like, what do you think, Iggy? Like, is Darrell Williams even going to be viable once CEH comes back? I think that's what Rhino 21 really wants.
If you're looking for trade value, trade D Williams right now. His value's high right now. It's the highest it's going to be right now. But me personally, I wouldn't trade him. I've never been a CEH guy. It's different to be a stud running back on a great football team on a big national program, and then go and kind of even be a good running back on a good team in the NFL. That doesn't sometimes translate. I do think D. Williams has solidified himself as at least a 2-minute guy, and that's the guy I want, especially in a PPR format. I want the guy that Mahomes is going to be dumping off to, because the truth is, I still don't believe in that Chiefs defense. I think the Raiders, they're doing what they always do: start off hot and then just let it all just go to just all like bad as you can get it at the end. I think Williams has value. I would try to dish off both of them, depending on what's out there, and come up on something else as well.
Yeah,
Bogard, real quick. You tell me. This is not what you think. What's the Bogard move in this situation?
Trade them both, package them up, trade them, and go right after. Maybe I would, me. I go for the gusto. I go right after CMC because he kind of got banged up. Maybe the might be a little wary about that, or maybe I go for a Najee. You know what I mean? I start at the top first. You know what I mean? Like, but also it's not like you're gonna get Najee or these guys just for those 2. It just helps if you have both of them. You know what I mean? Then I'll package. I'll do the 3-for-1. You know what I mean? Like you know me. I'm always trying to get top heavy. You know what I mean? Any way possible. And they're a team that's always going to throw the ball more than they run the ball. And when you're not throwing it to Clyde, it makes no sense to be that running back. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make sense in fantasy. Like and obviously 2-minute guy is double barrel Darrell, and he's a better pass pro, so that's not going to go away.
Yep, and Slim74 right there said, "See, good looking on the super chat, bro. Smoking it up for you." He said, "CEH is a starter, better RB, not even close." I think Andy Reid is going to figure out how to use both guys to their strengths because CEH, the experiment of him being a workhorse back, although it was probably at the wrong time because they were a passing offense, it just didn't seem to work. Didn't seem like they were using them the right way all the time. So I just think it's going to be more of a 50-50 split, at least close on the snaps, maybe 60-40. But they're just going to figure out how to use both guys. And CEH, not the best in pass pro. That's why they don't like him. At least that's what I feel why they don't like him, because he's not giving, Mahomes the extra seconds that he needs to on some of these premier pass rushers out there.
It's because he's a wee little man.
Yeah. That makes a difference.
He's like 5'8". And like up, 200 pounds. You know what I mean? I mean, that's still like a big dude, but for football purposes, you got a DN coming at you. You know what I'm saying?
And Tino agrees it's going to be a split. Yeah, I think I don't even think it's going to be a debate on if it's a split. Really, just how much is the split going to be? Who gets those goal line touches? Things like that. That's going to make one of these guys more valuable.
And what I was saying, Hustle, I don't think they probably don't even really get the goal line touches. If Pat Mahomes on fire, you remember what they did last year? Throw a little gadget plays to Travis Kelce, little gadget plays to Tyreek, and people like, give it to Clyde.
Yeah,
that's why I was kind of saying, like, those guys got value, but if they're not getting all the green zone touches, at least an opportunity when they go down the field, then why would you want to have those guys? So I agree with Iggy. I would kind of trade for those. I would trade those guys because it's just not getting enough work for me.
Here's one thing that I did notice. When they were getting down in the red zone with Clyde and they weren't giving it to him, it made it very easy for the defense to just drop everybody back in coverage. Double teamed Kelce, double teamed Tyreek, and they're just, they're not even rushing extra people because they don't have to. They already know it's going to be a pass. And I think that just
they're daring him to do the shovel pass on. They're like, do that shit.
Yeah.
All the praise on the offensive line for the Chiefs. It's not that great, but they are big, so they can control the line of scrimmage and move the ball. It's just I don't know where the value is going to be. That's why I'm bundling it up. And guess what? The Chiefs still haven't had their bye week. So if you can dish off 2 running back and get somebody that's already had their bye week, more kudos to you, because now you don't have to eat that week. So that's the problem. But
if you can get rid of both players, trade them both away for something, package them up, and get rid of 2 bye weeks, they're kind of like when you're trading them away, it's almost like it's 2 players into one. That's the way I think of it, So I definitely want to be on the, moving them both away versus bringing them both back. Because, the bye week's week 12. So right now we're still in week 10. Next week's week 11. So, yeah. We got the playoffs coming up. Starts in a couple weeks. Week 14 is the last week for most people, so you better make some moves now.
We got 4 weeks, and if you're gonna move a Darrell Williams or a Clyde, it's got to be this week because you don't want anyone to see it, and it's this mess that's like a split of 50-50 split, and they just vulture each other. Get rid of that before we see it.
And then who asked about it? My man Chase asked, hey, fellas, did you already touch on Russ? Who wants to give some thoughts on Russ? I just think he came back a little bit too quick. Combination of the snow and his broke-ass finger probably didn't make anything better.
I just want to say, Mr. Unlimited, my ass.
I'm scared. I usually don't get scared or anything. I'm like, oh, he's going to be fine. I'm stashing him. I'm nervous. I'm almost willing to, and I love DK. I want to trade him. I don't know if Russ is going to have that touch. It's the feeling, the way he dropped them balls when he throw it deep, the way they come in, the accuracy on it. If he don't got that, this is what I was saying, guys. This is the oxymoron. I was like, please put Geno back in the game. Please put Geno in the game. The way he was getting the ball, like that last week, the way he was getting the ball to DK and Tyler, seems like he had learned how to get them the ball. Russ, it seems to me, if you got DK, I think Tyler will be okay. I don't know if he's going to give the ball to DK. I think that's why DK was angry. He was like, you're not even giving me the ball when I'm open, Russ. It ain't that we know you're a little rusty. So to me, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say this real name. I'm going to pass it on to the other guys. I think DK could be a sell high guy. And I say he's high because his name value. I'd rather go and get rid of DK and get a receiver that has a healthy quarterback, because you get ready to go into the playoffs. If Rush don't never hit that ceiling, then DK and Tyler's value is going to kill you.
But real quick, so before we pass to someone else, are you saying you don't think it's going to be because his finger's not going to get back to 100%, or you just think really is that it? Is it just because his finger's not going to be back to 100% probably before the season's over, fantasy season?
Well, this is what I want to say, and I'm not putting anything because I love Russ. That finger injury might be a bad injury for his career.
Find your Bible, son. Go look around there.
I hope not. No, I hope not. Yeah.
I hope not. But it just scared me. I'm like, because even Russ,
I'm not worried.
Before, but never seen him do that. It didn't look like Russell Wilson. Not even a rookie Russell Wilson.
I mean, even with the game just to not get shut out, that last little pass, that last target to DK that he had, Russ still was putting things in the vicinity. I mean, the accuracy was off, but that's obviously the finger. I'm not worried about Russ.
Okay.
Long term, you know what I mean? But maybe immediately, yeah, I can agree with you. Maybe just if you want to jump ship on DK and all them, I'll be honest with you. I'm about to send you an offer for DK, but I'm not. You can't sell it high because I'm. You got to find someone that can do that if you're. You know what I mean? Like, because DK's still DK. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they tell Mr. Unlimited, hey, you rushed you back. You know what I mean?
I thought that all that I was thinking, he's got pins that just came out of his fingers and all that. I thought maybe the cold makes it a little bit worse. Like when you're in the cold, it makes every little injury just like that much worse. It just makes it flare up a little bit. So that's all I thought it was, with the combination of a little bit of a rust. But Iggy, what do you think about Russ? And what do you think about Russ?
Real quick, I mean, I trust him. I hope it's not career ending. I believe in Russ. He takes care of his body, I think. I just think he rushed it playing against Green Bay. And if you watch that game, Green Bay was able to bring pressure with 4. They spied with Campbell on, I would say, I haven't repeated the game film, but watching it last night, about 60% of the plays, meaning everybody else was in coverage. So Russ didn't have time. They were able to get to him. He rushed it back. It was cold. I just think it was a bad week. But the Seahawks also, they're 3-6 now. So who knows, man? I hope he's all right. I think he's all right. You're starting the rest of the season. It's probably because if you draft him, he's probably your QB1, right? So I'd say you got to start him.
I think in redraft, I get what you're saying, TD. We only got a couple weeks left before the playoffs, get here. If he is your QB1 and he's not back to right by like next week, and that affects DK, that affects Lockett, that is a reason why to potentially get rid of him, especially if you're in some win some right now, predicament. So I understand what you're saying about that, TD. The season is almost over as long as we think. Even though we think we got a long time.
Yeah, and it kind of goes to like the Achilles. Everybody, I'm pretty sure we like Greek mythology. What killed Achilles? That's my son's name, by the way. But what killed Achilles? Nice. It wasn't nobody hit him with a boulder over the head. It was his kill, something simple.
Yeah.
And so I'm not wishing that, but it just made me think of that because I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm just upset because I expected a little bit more out of Russell. So I'm hopefully I'm out of context. Hopefully I'm just being a little bit too. I'm worrying a little bit too much.
Well, Russ, he puts passes where very few people in the league can put them. We can even go into my intro video and you see that pass at the end where he like puts it perfect there for Lockett, to lay out with it. And that's like, you got to have the touch. Yes. Every one of his fingers and his thumb is very important for that pass happening. So
did you just call him Rust?
I said Russ. He's a little rusty right now, though.
I thought you called him Rust. I was like, oh, that's hard.
Not yet, but he might be. If he comes back rusty next week, that might just be his name. It's called Rust Wilson. All right, let's get into some other stuff here. All right, TJ Watt. Okay, for everyone who is freaking out about TJ Watt, we still may need to freak out about him. But they said the knee and hip, the injuries, they came back negative, so he had the MRIs and stuff done, still hella sore, that they said that as of today, when this news came out, they don't know how much time he's missing, if any. So we're monitoring this all week.
Iggy, you upset?
Yeah, I mean, I have him in more than one league. You know, he's my captain. I got to replace him, but you don't get rid of him. If nothing else, you just bench him and wait. But if it's not serious, he'll be back. He'll be the Steelers are 5-3-1, sitting second in the AFC North. Everybody in that division lost or had a bye week. He's going to be needed. Highsmith is playing great, but he's going to be needed.
I don't think Pittsburgh. I think they missed the playoffs if they don't have T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt is the heart and soul of this team. When he's rushing the passer and getting, with Big Ben not being able to throw the ball downfield, they can't get any wins if they're not getting short-sided fields. So T.J. Watt is huge. If he's not healthy back on his team, ready to go into this playoff run, maybe I'll lower my expectations with the Steelers defense and some of the offensive players too.
And I'm not even going to say lower expectations. Abandon your expectations. If T.J. Watt is the straw that stirs the drink on that team, if he is not there, the entire morale of the team is down because their best player on offense or defense is not playing. He's the best linebacker in the league. He took a pay cut to sign that, even though he was the highest paid defensive player in the league, that was a pay cut because he hits the open market. He's probably worth close to double that with this new TV.
180 million probably.
Easily.
Yep.
Easily. When he's on the field, he's the best player on the field, offense or defense, more often than not.
Yep. That's why Iggy beat me. I just got to throw that caveat out there.
Thank goodness. Come back.
Dude, such a beastly week.
You know what, man? I think that's just a Watt thing, right? Because, JJ was always banged up too, man, because they just play hella hard, bro. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When they hit that's getting into a car crash. We already know that. And he's taking some of the brunt of that too.
Yep.
And then did you guys see the play that actually happened? And so it was I don't know who it was, looked like a lineman, was tackling the QB, and then the whole pile kind of moved, and he went into it, and they just smacked knees. Like his knee just went smack right into his lineman's knee, and it was ugly. It was ugly.
Yeah, it was like that, right? Like he had all the pressure on it, and he kind of pushed into it. So,
yeah. What up, David? It's going down, bro. He said I may have smoked too much and started Colt McCoy, thinking that he would get me at least 10 points, but joke's on me.
I feel him when he says that, but also I want to point out you can never smoke too much.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Sometimes we buy the hype and we forget.
That's just bad decision making. That's all that was. That was just you could have done that sober, because they're. I mean, and now Kingsbury is hinting that Murray could be out again Sunday. Thanks for hopping us into that. Good segue. So Colt McCoy, he suffered. It was just a pec strain, is what they said. And so if called upon on Sunday because Kyler can't make it, Colt should be healthy enough to play. That's the news on Monday. I don't like hearing stuff like that for Kyler Murray. But who do they got next week?
They got the Seahawks. This is a big game.
Yeah.
Well, the one reason why he's not going to play, and I like this actually. Don't bring Kyler back too early. He's a small guy. You don't want Kyler running around out there injured. So when he comes back, guys, you're going to be able to play him, put him in the lineup, let him go. So they feel like they got control of this division, or they're going to be able to get in the playoffs without using Kyler. So maybe they don't get number one in the division, but they figure they can go to the playoffs, at least be a wild card team. So why do you come back and try to win games with an injured Kyler? Then he goes into the playoffs injured like he did last year. So for fantasy purposes, I think it helps everybody out.
What's insane is the Titans beating the Rams last week. It's like it gave Kyler 2 extra weeks from coming back. They won last week, even though they lost. Even if the Rams win this week, they're still tied at the top of the division, and they beat the Rams. So they're still, holding the cards right now.
Yeah, and they don't play the Rams again until the end of the season. So, I mean, at this track, Kyler should be healthy, by that point. So, but here's another thing I want to point out. Who the fuck is that other guy, man? The guy that came in. I ain't never heard of that guy in my life. The guy that came in after Colt McCoy.
What was his name?
Let me go see.
Name. That's. I mean, he wasn't memorable. So
Chris Streveler.
Streveler. Okay. Yeah, that poor guy.
More like Chris Struggler.
I like it. We'll allow it.
Oh, yeah, and there we go. Kyler has the bye in week 12. There you go. I forgot about I didn't know when their bye week was. I knew they didn't have it. So just makes sense. You sit him this week, and then he's not coming back till week 13 anyways. So I think we already better be planning right now that he's going to play, and if he does happen to play, it's a bonus.
Yep.
And let's see what else we got here. Okay, for the Dolphins, since we're talking some QBs, Tua is starting this week versus the Jets. So got him in there for a nice, easy matchup. Jacoby Brissett, day to day, but they say that his knee injury is not serious. So this is Tua being healthy enough to come take the reins back.
Hey man, I want to share something with y'all because this is the type of fantasy shit that be happening to me. So a motherfucker, shout out to my man BWB Blitz with Blake. I'm playing him in the DX league, right? And he leaves Tua in there because he's kind of checked out. I mean, he still sets his lineup, but he was like, there's no QBs out there. So he started Tua against me. But this motherfucker, I'm laughing because he's not even going to start, right? Then he comes in the game, and that shit just, I'm like, man, I'm on the verge of losing this week. Yeah. And I'm like, that's the type of shit that happens to me.
Yep.
That's awesome. I love it because we're in the same league together. I love it. I love hearing stories.
That's not the Ma'Khia Bryant league, is it?
No. This is the D-Generation X league. It's a 14-team league. It was all comprised of like people who were tapping in to the Q&As and the mock drafts that me and Bogey were doing. Okay. And so 14 savages are in this league. And I'm taking a loss this week. That's why I'm okay with Bogard taking a loss if he somehow does. But you're not going to. You're not going.
I got a lead right now. But I got my man Leonard Floyd, right? And then, but he has like Ayuk and Nick Bosa, and I think he has someone else too. I'm like, he might come walking that thing down, man.
Yeah. The only one you got to worry. Well, yeah, Nick Bosa and Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got this one in the bag. He started someone who didn't play. You got lucky there. He started KJ Osborne, who got a 0.
Yeah,
man. If Leonard Floyd doesn't do anything for you, and Ayuk and Nick Bosa have the games of their career, we could be witnessing a Monday Night Miracle.
Listen,
Ayuk going off.
In my $500 league, I looked at my opponents. I'm like, this motherfucker has Jacoby. He had Jacoby Myers. My baloney has the first name, bro. And I was like, the first thing I thought, I was like, this motherfucker's gonna score his first touchdown on me, isn't he? And he did it. I'm telling you, bro. Like, this shit always happens to me. I fucking love it. I think I'm like a glutton for this shit because you can't control it.
So right now the score is 179 to 145. Okay. So this would literally need to be a Monday Night Miracle amongst miracles, because even if Leonard Floyd only puts up 5, I mean, that's still putting him really, really far out of contention, even though IDP does go crazy. So if Nick Bosa has a TJ Watt game and Brandon Ayuk has a touchdown and 60, 70 yards.
So you mean Nick Bosa might get hurt? Is that what you're saying?
Man, you better not wish that upon your Niners. That's bad karma.
Listen, man, I don't wish nothing upon no one. I'm just saying, is that what you said?
So I'm gonna be watching in on that. Yeah, because if Bogart wins, he's jumping. Let me see. I think he's jumping me in the standings.
Because I was number 1 in this league.
Oh no, I'm behind you right now. No, I'm behind you because I have way more points against than you. Go figure. And we have like the exact same amount of points for.
See, while you religiously have the most points scored against, I just get all the funny, fluky shit that like awesome shit for other people happens against me. You know what I mean?
Only one other person, Taco. He had the bad luck here. Taco's the only one in this league who has more points against than me. So I managed to scrape this together and get to 4th place at 6-3. I think after going like 1-2 or maybe even 0-3.
Yeah, I know you went on a run.
Put that on your back, bro. They gun for you. That's how it is. People put out that week.
There we go.
I'm up 6 points in my league of record. He's got Fred Warner. I got the Rams. You guys know how I score defense. So as long as San Francisco doesn't put up a bunch of points, should be good. Bogart, like, what do you feel? How are you feeling about this game? We need to talk about this game a little more.
Obviously, Woods being out, like I don't really feel like it would be that much of a hit because Jefferson's been coming on so much. And then I think for what it's worth, OBJ is a wild card here. Like we don't know what to expect with them in OBJ. You know what I mean? So, and it could just be one or two big plays, and then we make the adjustment or something, right? I mean, but we're so bad. We're so bad this year. You know what I mean? And we do play the Rams. Jimmy, for what it's worth, in his career, plays the Rams really well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we actually swept the Rams last year, and Jimmy was healthy both those games.
You know what's so crazy? Like, it's how much karma is a bitch. Remember when they got that turnover and they're celebrating in the end zone during the Super Bowl? And it's like, literally ever since then, they've never gone back up. It's only gone down. The only time it goes back up is when the season starts and everyone's healthy, and then immediately goes back down.
And, like, I think the morale, I think everybody there is making business decisions. Like, they, you know, like, I think Kittle's really authentic to who he is. But everybody else is like, I just think they're all making business decisions. You know what I mean? I mean, Ayuk is obviously playing his ass off because he's been in the doghouse all year. You know what I mean? So I think for his sake, you know what I mean, like, and not to be a new Dante Pettis, you know, he's really playing his ass off. Debo, he got hurt. He's always going to play hurt. You know what I mean? But this is a powerhouse coming in here, coming off a disappointing loss to the Titans. You know what I mean? Like, the Rams are going to come in here and kick our ass. Like, that's another thing too, is that we were always playing well against the Jared Goff Rams. This Matthew Stafford Rams is a different beast. You know what I mean?
Tino agrees with you. He said the Rams are about to light the 49ers up, plus the 49ers don't win home games.
49ers going to win. I'm putting my money on the 49ers tonight. I think they win this game.
And shout out to my man Tino. That's my guy in real life. He a Cowboy too, TD.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
So fuck him, father. I'm playing him. I just thought of that. I'm playing him. He's whooping my ass too.
And before I let you chime in, Iggy, so they said Von Miller, there's some optimism that he might be able to play tonight. Still questionable with that ankle injury, but they're already throwing it out there that it might be a possibility that he gets out there.
He has a tackle prop. I think it's 3.5, 2.5. But I just want to say, yeah, I think just from a betting line, I got Henderson anytime touchdown, Rams plus 3.5. So just in case they do lose, I don't think they're losing by much more than a field goal.
They're gonna win by a touchdown. They'll cover
and
that.
Then, the Van Jefferson over 34.5 yards. It's the same game parlay for plus 215, baby.
Damn, that's it? 34.5 yards?
Well, I teased it now. I teased it on the same game because you're asking three things to happen. That's always hard. But I teased it to 34.5 because I think he'll go well over. I think the Rams will win, and Henderson's a stud. There's no reason he shouldn't be able just to go right up the gut against that defense, Fred Warner or not. But I just guess I say that to say the same things that you guys do. This is going to be a tough game. It's a divisional game. You don't really – there's not too many secrets between these two guys. So, you're going to get the best of the best. The Rams are going to be pissed off. They could play like the Cowboys did against the Falcons. Or you don't ever know. Jimmy G could get 3 touchdowns and 300 yards and make everybody shut up for a week or two.
Hey, what's Jimmy G's passing? What's his yards set at? Because he is coming off of back-to-back 300-yard outings, and those two games, the common denominator is that he's had Kittle back. You know what I mean? So this still though, I'm not saying he's gonna do it. I'm just curious what his line is.
I'm looking for you right now. I got it. Jimmy G 254.5, -115 standard prop.
I probably take the under on that. I think he's good for like 220, 230. You know what I mean? Because we're gonna try to run a ton. You know what I mean? You know what is crazy is that we started targeting Elijah Mitchell. Maybe we do that more this week.
Yep.
Because all that's connected to Jimmy, right? So, other than that, I don't think he's throwing for 300 on this team.
I'm telling you, I think San Francisco is going to whoop them this week. I think Matthew Stafford comes out and shows you, like, if you put some pressure on me, I'm gonna show you what I used to do in Detroit. And I don't think they win out because you got to think this is a revenge game between Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. He stole Matthew Stafford from him, and he called him and said, "Look, bro, I got Matthew Stafford right here." Y'all didn't hear that story? That was a true story.
Yeah, no, I remember I heard that story from you first, and I went and looked up. It's legit. Like it was a race to get Stafford.
Yes, it was kind of like the Little Giants when they had to rush to go get Spike.
Right, yeah.
And so it's kind of the same thing. So I feel like Kyle's okay. And he was like, okay, you got to get him, but I'm watching my team. I'm a better coach than you, man. Everybody think you're a better schemer than me, but you're not. So he coming after him today.
Here's what I'll say, guys. I think, just in a nutshell, Sean McVay is a better coach because when he came in as a rookie head coach, he brought in Wade Phillips, someone who was a former head coach, someone very seasoned, and that handled the defense while he could learn this thing. You know what I mean? That was fucking smart. Shanahan, on the other hand, has always been arrogant, and I'm a Sagittarius like him, so that's just how we are. We're in our ways, and you know what else is bad is that we make the same. We're habitual mistake makers, like the same mistakes, and I've seen him throw away 2 Super Bowls, so now that's habitual to me. You know what I mean? And like he has a losing record as a head coach. It's just all like Shanahan is more legendary in lore than he is like as a head coach.
Yeah,
from a 49er fan.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick, couple other pieces of news here for the Steelers. Minkah Fitzpatrick tested positive for COVID. We'll see how that goes. They didn't say anything about him not being vaccinated, so I'm assuming he is vaccinated. Chase Young out for the season, torn ACL. Iggy, what do you think about him? I know he was pretty disappointing, like from a fantasy standpoint, but maybe just from an NFL standpoint, things you may have seen on tape. What were some positives from him this year that we may not have seen?
Well, I'm telling you right now, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, they're not in the top 25. And Chase Young not being there because he's drawing double attention. Tight end, tackle guard, tackle running back on almost every pressure situation. So expect those numbers to go down. Yeah, from a fantasy perspective, he wasn't there, but he was garnishing a lot of attention, and that's going to go elsewhere. Somebody else is going to have to step it up on that defensive line. Washington played Tampa Bay tough, man, and they didn't have Young for half of that. So if they can overcome, if any defensive line can overcome it, it's them. Payne's going to have to step it up. There are going to be some interior people that are going to have to step it up. But it sucks, man. It just sucks because he's an exciting player, and I think if Washington does make a run, just think about what he did for them in their last run, getting the touchdown, and he's exciting to play. So from exciting to watch. So from an IDP perspective, it kind of sucks, even though he wasn't putting up points.
Yeah, and I also want to say too, Ron Rivera, man, like he always knew how to scheme against Brady, man. He's actually beat Brady, I think on every time he's played against Brady, he's beat him.
Except for last year.
Huh?
Last year they lost to the playoffs.
Oh, except for last year, I forgot about the playoffs.
But it was a great game. It was a great game.
Except for the playoffs, you're right.
Yeah, it was a great game.
But he's beat him twice with Cam, and then he beat him this time with Heineke.
Ron Rivera, really good defensive minded coach. Sucks that their guys keep going down. But speaking of Cam, we'll just throw it over to him real quick, who's supposed to be taking most of the first team snaps this week, which was, we could have already expected that. I didn't expect him to get in the game, though, and do what he did.
Oh, he was new. He was like, look here, Taysom Hill. I'm going to show you how it's done. He do it so good that you get the job back. And you know what's funny is I think he felt so much joy that it was almost like he felt like he was a kid again, because his voice reverted to like before puberty. He was like,
that's not true, Bogard. It's because it was too loud. You couldn't hear him, man.
You know what though? He was trying to do the thing from the Warriors, the movie.
Oh, okay.
I'm back. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, but still, that's what I assumed. But it's funny because I must have watched that shit like 83 times today. Because it was just all over social media.
Come out and play,
I was watching it 3-4 times in a row when I see it, because I'm literally laughing out loud because I feel his joy.
Yeah,
he is like so joyful. Can you say joy?
No, yeah, dude, you could just tell he was so happy. I was happy. It was great to watch, and then to come back and watch all my Robbie Anderson picks and best ball finally get some kind of juice. I was like, there's a heartbeat, baby. Boom, let's go. Because I was bold on one of Alex's show. And I was like, this is before they got rid of Teddy B. I was like, this defense is so good, they can win this division. Turn around, they're only one game back. And this defense is lethal, man. And if Cam's there, watch out. He's going to give them that surge of life that they needed, bro. Like he said, no, my personality is too loud. You know, who I am is I just draw too much attention, and people like me too much to be a backup to Mac Jones and not be a distraction. Well, guess what? Now he's not a distraction. Now he's back on the team that he's the best player they've ever had. He's the best. He's the player that took them to a championship Super Bowl, won a conference championship, and he comes in and scores the first touchdown against the best team in the NFC at that moment. It's Cam Newton, man. The NFL's better with Cam Newton. He's won it in the community college level. He's won it at the D1 level. I mean, I would love to see him win it, but you know, if nothing else, maybe he gets some comeback player of the year award or something, man. If he gets the Panthers to the playoffs, him and CMC healthy, watch out with that defense. Watch out now.
Iggy, he's not better than Steve Smith though, but I agree with a lot of that you said. He's not a better Carolina Panther than Steve Smith.
But you know what though?
I'm a Peppers guy too, but I bow to the Carolina man for sure.
Listen, I love Steve Smith, but Carolina, he is the face of it. Like Cam Newton he's the one. I mean, obviously they went to the Super Bowl before and lost it, but still, like Cam, you know, he was that guy for like 10 years. Like I'm trying to remember when did Cam get there? 2010, 11.
1-2 with Von Miller, so 10 years ago, 11 years ago now. Yep.
Yeah, and like so maybe he dominated for like 7 years out of that, because I know there was some couple hurt years there. You know what I mean? And like you know what, I like it. He got the dreads, he got the Mufasa theme going on, like with his lion mane, and you know what I mean? Like it's gonna be fun again. And I like this for CMC a lot, because the way when you look at listen, I'm not saying Cam Newton's going to come out and start stretching the field to Robbie Anderson, but I think everything short is going to be highlighted, because, you know, that's how he was in New England. That's all he got. I think Belichick saw that, so that's what they highlighted. Everything came quick.
I think to Ted Ginn, he could throw some bombs to Robbie Anderson. That best ball Robbie Anderson.
That was like 3 years ago. You know, because you know what it was too, was that shoulder. Remember, he had the shoulder a couple years ago. Since then, he don't got that big arm no more. Everything looks like it's throwing downwards. That's what's crazy. I mean, I'm hoping he's rejuvenated here. You know what I mean? And maybe it ain't just, you know, from older age and taking all the wear and tear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so I saved that one for last because I knew we had to talk about Cam a little bit and his crazy ass game in there. But before we switch and we start doing some Q&A, so don't forget, the way we've been doing it, guys, is at 4:20 Central Time. So that's 5 minutes away from now. That's when you're going to be able to put in the your questions. We're not really going backwards. It's too hard to keep up. But we're going to do about 15, maybe 20 minutes of questions and answers. So get ready to throw those in. But my man King Yada, oh yeah, my man Statavelli, he said he's in on the app on Super Draft. So I showed him about this today. He was all about it. I mean, he's all about daily fantasy in general. But when I told him how, you know, it's legal in all 50 states, he's in Arizona. It just barely got legalized there, like at the beginning of football season. Yeah. He's like, you know how long I've been wanting to do this? Like, so he wished that he knew about it, you know, a little bit before. But yeah, you guys got to get in on this. Literally all of us on the panel are coaches. We all got links that you can get signed up on. It's all in the description of the video. For everyone who's watching on my channel, I'm throwing my link in the chat right now. Anyone who gets signed up on a $20 subscription today, you're getting 10 extra entries into the signed Darius Leonard jersey giveaway. You get into the $50 tier, you're getting, let me see, what's that? 2.5. So you're getting 25 entries into the giveaway. You get into the $100 tier, which you need to get on. 3 out of the 4 of us here, we're on the $100 tier. Bogard will be there real soon. I think he's just got to win one of these contests. But I just took first in a contest yesterday. Ramondre Stevenson. Who else did I hit on? Had Elijah Moore in there. Had Mason Rudolph in there because he was a crazy, like, double multiplier. So, like, anything that he did, he automatically got doubled just because he sucked so much. And he ended up doing better than Tom Brady did yesterday because Tom Brady was only a 1x multiplier. He scored twice the amount of points that Tom Brady scored.
That put him at 400 yards because Rudolph was 200 yards and 1. So, you know, that made him 400 yards and 2. You know what I mean?
There you go. That's a good game right there. So, yeah. We got to be on it, guys. The link's in the description. The link is in all of our YouTube channel descriptions right now. So go get signed up. There's a free tier, a $20 tier, a $50 tier, a $100 tier. Get on any one of them. But the higher you go, the less amount of players you're going against, and the higher the payouts are. Don't just download the app. You can't get into the subscription contest that we're telling you about with literally just hundreds of players. I've never came in first ever on DraftKings. I came in first yesterday. There was only 300 and something, well, maybe 500 in the contest. Can't even remember, but that felt good, even though the payout wasn't crazy because it was the cheapest contest out of all of them. Now I'm going to have the stones to play my crazy lineups in all of these contests. So check out this commercial. We'll be back in a couple minutes, and go get signed up right now. Links are in the description.
In a world where hope was fading and isolation was growing between friends, family, and fun, and people began to yearn for a better way to earn.
Okay, we've had enough drama in recent history. It's time to reconnect, kick off the game, and play to win cash and prizes. SuperDraft Pro is the official fantasy partner of Caesars Entertainment. Yes, that's Caesars. This isn't your grandmother's bingo night. Imagine the exciting chance opportunity of Las Vegas, only bigger, in the palm of your hand. And imagine the energy of the crowd and the love of your favorite game, connecting you and literally every single person you know playing daily fantasy sports, all while getting paid. This is SuperDraft Pro, and you can stop imagining. Experience it for yourself. Simply download the SuperDraft app and sign up by creating an account. Be a player, or be a coach building teams of players with a range of membership packages that suit your level of interest. And guess what? We know, and you probably know too, that this is a multi-billion-dollar industry with roughly 60 million people playing in North America alone. So, what's new or different about the SuperDraft Pro that's actually a game changer? That's an easy answer. And I literally mean easy. The SuperDraft app is super user-friendly, so playing is easy. So when you play, your chances to win can be easier than other traditional fantasy sports games. It's also set up to level the playing field with our exclusive patent-pending games, which allow you to pick the players you like and the players you trust. This is your draft, your way. See? This really is changing how the game is played. And it's even a game changer for business, because not only can you get paid to play, you can get paid when other people play when you become a SuperDraft promoter by sharing the app. Making money doesn't have to be a grind. Turn your business based at home into your home-based playground, getting paid to play, having fun, wherever you are. Because this virtual model is high speed and low drag, SuperDraft Pro plans to eventually capture the imagination of the world by going global with a simple, proven business that never sleeps. Join the fun. Play, get paid, and tell everybody. Download the SuperDraft and Sportsbook app today. Available on iOS and Android.
SuperDraft Pro, rated F, UN.
Okay, that's enough. You're done.
All right. And TD, you were killing the game during college football, man. I mean, I just remember like opening them the app, seeing you right on top. So, I mean, what do you like about this so far? I mean, you've only been on it for what? Like, well, you played in the cash games, but what do you think about the subscriptions since you started playing?
I like it. I actually can gauge my money. I don't have to keep adding money for each cash game. So all I got to do is just keep submitting my lineups and building my my money. And that way, at the end of the month, I can take off and see if I match my subscription price, which I'm on the $100 tier. And it's easier that way. And you also, if you're a big gambler, you can always go to the cash games. But I think I like it where I'm getting the free games and I can just make money off of that instead of just having to put in $20 to try to win 30. That's just a lot. So I love it, man. You have an opportunity. There's only 300 people in your contest in the $100 tier. So you have a chance to come in first. So yeah, on college, I had a really good lineup, or early lineup, and I got hunted down. But I feel good about the guys that I picked because I don't watch college football. So I still had a shot. It's nice to see the name number one. That means a lot right there. I'm pretty sure these guys will say the same thing. But yeah, I'm gonna keep getting better. I'm actually gonna start watching and researching college football a little bit more now. And guys, make sure you sign up. This is Cutting Edge. This is Google when everybody was talking about, hey, you want to invest in Google? You remember when it was like $10 a share? This is also Apple. Remember when Apple first started? This is the opportunity to get in on Super Draft Pro and become a coach and be able to build you something where you can be invested in, and you don't know what kind of residual is going to bring in 10 years or 5 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be a lot. I'll tell you that much.
No, exactly.
Iggy, what do you think so far? I mean, I know you're real big in the betting world. I know you do a lot of DFS in different areas. What do you think about the app so far?
No, yeah, I do both as well, man. And like I said, I've gotten some people signed up that are really happy that they lived in some states where they couldn't bet in, and they're enjoying it. I just like it because the contests are smaller. Like right now, we've been talking. I've been looking. I did my free one. I took that same lineup, put it in a contest that right now only has 221 people. First place wins a G. So you got to be confident in yourself. That's betting 101. But I found it to be very pleasurable. Like I told my wife, I was like, we're going to get on the monthly plan. We're going to win, and if we win, we'll carry that over to this. For me, the sports, the money one, because it's a transition. As soon as I win, boom, that money goes into that. You can withdraw it, but for me, I just like, well, now I got some money to play with over here. Take some of it, keep it, play with some little bit more of it. I think it works really well for me. It's
funny too because I haven't upgraded yet from the $20 joint. Because I'm using my card that I pay all the bills with, right? So and sometimes it's a debit card, but I have to dump in hella cash. I'm still a cash having motherfucker 9 times out of 10. So I told my girl, I'm like, this is gonna be like a bill every week, every month. You know what I mean? It's just, and we've been saving because we got free insurance for the kids now. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna spend $100 a month on this. You know what I mean? It's just.
Yeah, and also, I'm big into the NBA. Like I said, you can see the fantasy championship right here, 3 years running. And I bet on the NBA too. I got 2 free NBA ones tonight. I got 2 free NFL ones tonight. I mean, unless you're, how much more do you need? I mean, if you can't hit on 2, what makes you think you can hit on 100? So just focus it. And I'm only competing. We're all competing against people that only have 100. The only people that are in these contests are the ones that paid in the same tier as us. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah. Get in here with us, win with us. Let's have fun, man. If we're all winning, we're all eating. What's there to complain about?
And one thing that I'll tell you, I know a lot of people on this app right now are not sharks. They just happen to hear about this from someone else. They may be into sports. They might not even be into fantasy like that. They're just into sports.
It's all gamblers, degenerates, bro. Because it's like when you tell someone you can get, X amount of contests for $100 in a month, they go, what? You know what I mean? Gets them every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so throwing $100 down, I've already made $140 in the 2 weeks that I've been playing. So you're only really spending money if you're not filling out all your lineups and winning. Because we got invited to a free World Series of Poker daily fantasy. I don't know any of these motherfuckers. I just picked guys who had profile pictures. That was the only way that I picked. I won $1 from it. I mean, that's better than nothing. It was just for fun. I literally don't even know who I picked.
It out. Was that only for the $100 tier? Because I saw
no, that one was for everybody. Just a free one.
Done that.
So they're building up the World Series of Poker daily fantasy. I mean, obviously poker is getting a lot bigger, but they're going to have it to where at some time for some big World Series of Poker event, they're going to have this big paid event where people pay in. And then if you actually come in first, you get a seat at a World Series of Poker event.
Dude, getting a seat is expensive as fuck in itself. Cause some people, they got to win several satellite tournaments just to get into the big tournament. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because you already know they're talking big time money when it's one of those. It ain't no $1,000 entry.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Being able to do daily DFS with World Series of Poker, that's so degenerate as fuck. I'm mad I didn't fill that out.
Super degenerate. It was literally shooting fish in a barrel. Like I said, I literally picked based on guys having profile pictures. That's it. Because more than half of them didn't even have pictures. So I was like, these guys must be scrubs. They don't even have a picture, on here. They must not be that legit. Maybe they're just in the tournament. So funny though, man. That was awesome. Won $1 off of that, just purely guessing.
And and not only are we all members, guys, we're all winners too. We've all won on big. You just heard Alex say he's winning. TD, you can go look at his stuff. He's got proof right there for everybody winning first on some big pots. And I've won some too. So it's all fun. And if you like winning, you get addicted to winning. Like Vince said right here, winning isn't a sometime thing; it's an all the time thing, baby. We got to get in that winning mindset.
And I know one thing that we're going to start doing here real soon. We just got to figure out a day and time that works for everyone. We're going to be getting all of us coaches together, guys who are kind of building teams and squads. And, we're going to come on here, tell you guys about some players that we're putting in lineups, like things like that, broadcasted on all of our YouTube channels. So everyone's like involved in all this. But we're going to be building a real dope community around this as well. People playing daily fantasy. You can actually get in a daily fantasy league with TD, get in daily fantasy or contest, not league, with me, with Iggy, with Bogard. And we're going to do some like real special stuff where like you got to be signed up for a subscription, but you're going to be able to get into a contest where we give away a signed jersey or something. Maybe we have like 60 or 70 people, in the contest, type thing.
Yep.
Nice. We're going to do some fun stuff. And what up, David? He said, didn't the Packers get crushed by the Saints? Wilson was rusty. When did the Packers get crushed by the Saints? Did they?
Week 1, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, week 1. Yep.
So long ago, I couldn't even remember.
They weren't ready.
Yeah.
They weren't ready.
Sir Bongslaw said, got both Fant and Higbee on a bye in week 11. Who would you drop for a pickup? Probably, I don't know. Both of them? I just drop both and just start fresh with a new tight end. Like neither one of them have really been, too viable for you.
Wait a minute. Oh wait, this next week I was like, Higbee,
week 11. Week 11, yeah, week 11.
I would hold on to Fant, but do what you need to do.
What about you, TD?
I would say drop both. I would say I will hang on to Higbee just because of the Robert Woods injury. But right now, I can't give you a guide who to go pick up because I don't know really. I'm not looking at your lineups and stuff. Or your waiver wire. So that's a question that maybe Hustle can get to you on Patreon. But I would definitely try to hold on to Higbee just because this is an efficient offense and it's a green zone offense. And I usually target stringable tight ends with teams that score a lot.
Now we don't do waivers until obviously you got to get them in before Wednesday. But I will change my answer if Higbee somehow balls out tonight because Woods, is out. Because that may make a difference. And I said, I already know who to pick up. Just wanted to know who to drop. Okay. Yeah, wait. Ask me tomorrow. Come back on the show tomorrow. We'll see what Higbee does. But as of right now, I'm saying Higbee. But it's all based on really how he does tonight with Woods being out. And Nick Von B, what up? Shout out to the 420 crew. Said, how about them Cowboys defense yesterday? If you played them, I know they killed it.
Yeah,
I know that much.
This defense is very opportunistic. They going for turnovers, so I like this defense going forward. I think you hold on to them if you in the DST league.
Make a claim, TD. How many INTs is Diggs gonna get on the season?
12.
Yeah, I mean, definitely on pace for more than that right now, or at least right around that.
He's on pace to break the record held by
Night Train Lane from the 50s or something, man.
Yeah.
The longest football.
Yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see. What is it? 14 in the season. And damn it, I mean that was in 1952. So what was that?
12 games too.
8 games. Woo!
And that's when they were throwing a bowling ball. Before they had the traditional pigskin we know and love now. It was a rock.
He jumped over. He was going by their practice one day and seen them practice, and he knew he was probably the fastest guy. So he jumped over the fence and said, "Guys, let me race your guys." And that's how he became Big Night Train Lane. And
that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I love the history. I love it.
And it's crazy. I mean, Diggs, he's only 2 games that he hasn't gotten an interception. That's it. Pretty insane. And then he's already doubled up. And then one of those other games he had 2. So yeah, right now he's on pace for 15.1111 interceptions. So That's
It'd be cool to see break. It'd be cool. It'd be cool to see break.
yeah. I mean, what did we say? What year?
52.
52. Like, yeah, we're 70 years. 70 years. This has been a record.
Yeah,
Hey, did y'all know Big Night Train Lane killed somebody on the field too?
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was the first guy to kill. They quote unquote kill somebody on the field. Yeah, it was a guy. It was a wide receiver. Because Big Night Train. This is when he used to tackle like this. They can't do it anymore.
Oh, straight punching you.
Yeah, he will try to lift your helmet up and hit you in the throat. And he hit a guy like that, and he didn't get up.
Didn't they call like necktie tackles or something like that?
Yeah, he was the guy that's how he tackled. He said he went tackle, he'll let you run by, and he'll jerk you from your pads, like the rule that they made horse collar.
So pretty much every rule that I mean, this is 1952. So I mean, every rule that they've made, it might have stemmed from him.
Yeah.
Hey, legacy right there. That's insane.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, I will say though, it won't be good for his ego if he breaks the record.
Well, it never is. I mean, Cromartie, you can go back and look at Antonio Cromartie. Like, I mean, he set that record, and then it was like, all of his kids, like it was like 7 kids or something was stemmed from like, that year or whatever when he was going on the road. Like, that's how wherever his kids live, those were the years that whoever he played that season when he was balling.
He got a vasectomy too and had those other
I was about to say
he had a vasectomy and had 3 kids. It was 3. It was 3.
Oh, 3. Okay.
That's insane. Like, talk about some strong swimmers.
Being in shape, baby.
his swimmers took it to the house, you would say.
Yeah. What is it? Was 109 yards every time. That's what his swimmers were taking it back to the house. There we go. And let's see. Tino said 22 interceptions, but he gives up 30 TDs.
Spoken like a true cowboy.
All right. Second Take Extra says score prediction on tonight's game. Who wants to kick it off?
I'll go. Let's see.
24-17.
24-17 San Francisco.
Yes.
So yeah, the line's 50. So they're saying there's going to be points. I'm going to say 27-21 Rams.
I'm gonna piggyback you on that one because I like, but here's the thing though is what is it? It's only -3.
Yeah, well, actually, I just put Robbie Gold in for our captain in our super.
Man.
Okay, so you're trying to speak it.
So let me change that real quick. I'm going to change it to 27-30 or no 26-27 Rams. There we go.
I like the Rams to cover, so and I think they smack us up. We're like 30-17.
Here's what's crazy is if you put Robbie Gold in as your champion, it's champion is what it is. I mean, hey, we're gonna we don't have millions of people watching. If a couple people tie us because we tell them about it, I'm okay for it. Get on that subscription. We're literally telling you how to win, okay? And but you put Robbie Gold in as your champion. He's a 4 times. That means 1 extra point that he kicks, you get 4 points. He kicks a 20-yard field goal. That's 12 points on that. Okay. If he kicks a 50-yard field goal and he clocks 20 points for that 50-yard field goal, I'm definitely going to be smoking fat as soon as that happens.
And it's Robbie Gold. He's golden. You feel me? He's gold. Let's go.
And see it.
It's a divisional round, Iggy. You don't think that this is a low-scoring game? It's 2 divisional teams, and they don't have Robert Woods. You think they just don't need Robert Woods?
I just told you, 1 field goal, he gets 12 points. 1 extra point, he gets 4 points. So I mean,
it is low scoring. I think it's low scoring. I do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm going with you, Hustler. I'm saying the field goal kickers are in play. I feel like it's
big time in play, both of them.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm putting the field goal kickers in one lineup, both of them. I just feel like that's gonna be a game script.
I'm doing it in all of them
too.
I'm doing it in all of them because like a guy like Matt Gay, if we're talking about just regular fantasy football, he's getting like 10 points a game.
Exactly.
He's a 3-time multiplier in this one, like 3.3. So that means if he just gets his 10 points, he's giving me 33 points for those 10 points. He doesn't have to do a lot. And so that's why the kickers, It's only on the games like this where it's on one game where you can put in the kickers. The big slates, they don't do that. But it's definitely a little bit of a cheat code. Sometimes it hurts if you play both kickers and one of them does good, the other one doesn't do shit. Sometimes that hurts. But I think both of these guys can throw down some good points.
Yeah, well, if I don't play Jason Sanders.
Don't play Jason Sanders because he's not kicking.
And wait, and it's not captain, it's champion. Champion, Antonio, champion. No, it's not, because we got to fuck DraftKings. I haven't been able to play on DraftKings in like 4 years. So it's not even because I'm on this and not on that. Like, my account got locked on DraftKings. I support wouldn't do shit for me. They wouldn't unlock it or anything. They just never got back to me. I started a new account, and then they locked both of my accounts. So I couldn't even fucking play. So that's why I've been looking for something like this, because I literally haven't been able to play. I don't really like FanDuel. I don't know. I just never really do good on them. And but yeah, so that's why I'm like, fuck DraftKings and fuck their captains. Exactly. We'll do the champions.
Campeones.
Tab, what up? Tab 06. Will Ramondre Stevenson take over the lead back role, or Damian Harris still the guy? Harris is going to still be the guy, but we know that they like Ramondre, and anybody can get injured on any given day, and they deploy multiple backs.
Pass back, whoever it is, it's good to go. They get points.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Stevenson. He gets catches also, so it's not like he's a one-trick pony. Bolden, he's pretty much only getting catches. Dame Harris, he's usually only getting rushes, not really getting catches. So he's the only one who's like a multifaceted back. And we already know Bill Belichick, if you do 2 or 3 things, he likes you a lot more than the dude that does one thing.
Exactly.
But you know what? He does love you. He loves you when you play special teams. And that's one thing Stevenson won't ever be. He's not a special teams guy.
If you play in an IDP league, Brandon Bolden's an extra cheat code, getting those couple extra tackles, things like that. You got to love it. But for you guys who play in team defense leagues, you're not getting any of that love. And whoever the Facebook user is, shout out to you, said taking a shit at the gas station and tuning in. That's some dedication right there.
Yeah. Hey, listen, make sure you put that plastic, the paper thing. Because, man, the gas station joints that's just a risk I can never take. You know what I mean? I might be like squatting on that thing if I had to. They got hepatitis A through Z and 18, 19, and 20 in those motherfuckers.
Yeah, someone needs to create something that you could just take into any gas station, set it up on the ground to where it just holds you on top of the toilet somehow. I don't know how that would work, but that'd be crazy. Ha. And Austin, he said, Fantasy Good got that soothing voice.
Yeah, I just need women to feel the same way. Come on, man. I thought you gonna get K Sweat for me, hustler.
I'll get one. Which one do you want? That's we'll get a nice drop for you.
I think I want the one with him and the girl.
Twisted.
No, not Twisted. What's the one with him and the girl?
Nobody.
Yeah, how it goes.
Or Make It Last Forever. He has a bunch of duets. Make It Last Forever.
Nobody.
That's nice. I think it's Nobody.
Nobody.
That's definitely
baby. That's the slap right there. Hey, kid, look. See why I got hella kids? Because of Key Sweat, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. I might change my name to the Fantasy Key Sweat. So.
And there you go.
Begging for wins.
That'd be dope. Just make your own version to that. Who's got better isms than TD? Nobody. And then...
Oh, buddy.
That'll be fire. All right, let's see. One more question, then we're getting up out of here. And Rob said down 9.6, got Kupp and Kittle. He's got Debo and Higbee. Think it will happen.
Yeah.
I don't think Higbee's going to do shit. I mean, I know that because of Robert Woods not being out, he may do something, but I think Kupp and Kittle are going to overpower 10 points over Debo and Higbee.
Hey, you know what's funny is I got out of 21 leagues, I got one share of Higbee, and when he finally did something last week, I was like, see. I think it was like I think he had a touchdown week 1, and I just been throwing him in there. Haven't gave up.
Like
yeah,
you said, those early.
I think he's good, man. He has Kittle and Cup. Those are 2 focal points on their offenses. So he's never gonna not have a guy producing for him. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna get a chance from jump all the way to the end of the game. You know?
The only thing that I worry about is Cup. If Odell plays a lot, like he pulls a Cam Newton, then I think they'll be fine. But I think they might take Cup away. Say, listen, beat me Higbee, beat me Darrell Henderson, beat me Sony Michel. I'm not going to let Cooper Kupp beat me. If they do that, I feel like that's the game plan that I would have as a defensive coordinator. And I would, but if ODB, if he could come out there and play and get a couple targets, they make the defense play it safe, respect everybody, then maybe they can come out.
Do you think he jumps into like 60% of the snaps? I think he plays something like maybe 40, 45
tonight.
Yeah,
tonight. OBJ.
30.
Yeah. You said OBJ.
Yeah,
OBJ.
Like ODB. I think he plays like 40% of the snaps. The de facto number 2 tonight.
Now, the real question is, do you think they design a couple plays for him specifically where they come out the snap knowing that the play's going to him?
Well, a screen or a slant. You know what I mean? Like they could take it because they have that in their arsenal. You know what I mean? That's Sean McVay got the screen on lock. You know what I mean?
What do you guys think about Van Jefferson?
OBJ.
What's that?
Say it again.
We need to get an ODB drop for OBJ too.
If he does good tonight or does good in the next one, I don't like creating guys drops. Not good drops. If it's a guy we're gonna make fun of, like I got this one on here still, and even though he sucks, it's just funny to throw up.
Oh my God! They killed Kenny, you bastard!
So like anytime we talk about Kenny Golladay, we can get something like that going in there. But yeah, it all depends. All right, go get it.
I hear the sound.
Like, listen, we got to get him an old dirty bastard drop. ODB says a bunch of fire shit.
Yeah, we just got to find the right one. Well, what do you guys think about Van Jefferson tonight? So he's a 1.9 multiplier for in Super Draft Pro.
I like him. He's going to be in my lineup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's in my lineup right now. Yeah.
Yep. I think he's a guy that has a shot for a long touchdown tonight. Because I just feel like the defense is not going to respect him.
The Niners we're susceptible to them splash plays down the field. This goes back to week 1 with where Quintez Cephas was like catching bombs on us. Week 2 when Quez Watkins was doing like just all year. I can go on and on. All year we've been giving up these splash plays to receivers, Van Jeffersons and
yeah, the secondary is not that good. That's a glaring weakness for the 49ers. So,
oh yeah,
Josh Norman or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we suck.
All right. I think it's time to wrap a bow on this. We don't have any more questions, and appreciate you guys tapping in with us. Let's just round robin it. So we got a bunch of people watching on YouTube, but we got a bunch of people watching on Facebook who may not be tapped in with us on a normal basis. So Iggy, why don't you tell everybody where to find you at?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Thank you guys for joining. It's Iggy's Fantasy and Betting. If you're watching on the YouTube, just please go click subscribe for me. But everything you need to find is at iggy'sfantasyandbetting.com. You can check out my podcast 5 days a week. We got articles coming up, waiver wires, player pine, my rankings, how I did on my betting. After I do it, I show you my bets after that. You want to pay to see what I'm doing. Go sign up for the Patreon. That's on there too. So it's all right there on Iggy's Fantasy and Betting. If you're looking me up on social media, it's IDP Iggy or Iggy Fantasy and Betting as well. Thanks, guys.
TD, tell them where to find you at and where to subscribe.
So, guys, go to any social media platform. I'm on there as Fantasy Good Sports, as you see on the screen right here. Fantasy Good Sports, no spaces. And also, guys, if you want to show support to my channel, go to OnlyFans. And no, I know that made it sound a little crazy. I'm not taking off any clothes. It's fantasy football content, just trying to be a trailblazer. So go show support and get cutting-edge content. Like I was on A.J. Dillon. I talked about starting Antonio Gibson along with Hustler this week. So if you want that type of cutting edge content, go follow me on OnlyFans.
Bogard, tell them where to find you at.
Yes. The usual Earth is my turf, and universe give me money, give us all money, right? And you can find me at the GMM Network on YouTube, and yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Always a pleasure. The Monday shows are always fun because it's the beginning of the week, but we're closing out a football week. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? It's always a pleasure working with you, Hustler, TD, Mr. Game Day. You know what I mean? We get it.
Yeah. And we got a Q&A starting in about an hour and a half. Going to do the Q&A leading up into the game, and then we've been streaming a little bit into the game as well. So make sure you tap in. Going to be talking about some super draft lineups that we're putting in last minute. I just submitted the lineup right now. Shit's going to hit. I already know it's going to be real fire. So tap in. We're going to talk about some more players, talk about all the upcoming contests, you know, and then talk about waivers. Let's talk about some IDP waivers, some offensive waivers. We don't need to talk about starts and sits later tonight, but yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about some Monday Night Miracles that we need to happen. That's why we all need to tap in. See you guys there. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.